Everybody back. Everybody's back.
Donald, so Donald's not.
Oh, Donald is there.
But then Donald wouldn't be able to continue if he was missing.
I'll just try the focus. Just hold it.
Should have done in the very see we can do that.
I do that.
Because although we finish your questions before, or give us a question.
Yeah, I've got more questions. Objectives, there's five objectives. I just wondered, do you know what the 5 objectives are for the licensing board?
No, not related to any, not related to any.
No, it's not related to any page number.
The questions?
Can I,
So that the question is, the licensing board, when we are looking at applications and discussing it, and also to look at if somebody is a fit and proper person to hold a license, we look at our objectives, and there's 5 objectives, and I just wondered if you knew what the 5 objectives were.
license போது நோக்கங்கள் 5 நோக்கங்கள் பத்தி அவங்க பேசுறாங்க. என்னென்ன மாதிரி இருந்து ஏன் அப்படி ஒரு லைசன்ஸ் கொடுக்கிறது, இந்த மாதிரி அவங்க நோக்கம் என்ன நோக்கம் சொல்லுங்க. அப்படி நோக்கம் இருக்கிறது.
Can I clarify, interpreter here? Yeah. While issuing a license, the objectives of issuing a license to sell alcohol.
Yes.
Does Mr. Jogarasa understand?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. So when you were going through your training, there'd be like 5 objectives for licensing. So I just wondered if you knew what those 5 objectives were. So when we're looking at the selling of alcohol, we want to use these objectives in mind to make sure that we are selling alcohol correctly. And I just wondered if you knew what those objectives were.
லைசன்ஸ் கொடுக்கும் போது ட்ரைனிங் அப்படி கொடுக்கும் போது 5 நோக்கங்கள் இருக்கிறது சார். சரிங்க, அந்த நோக்கங்கள் உங்களுக்கு தெரியுமான்னு கேட்குறாங்க. உங்களுக்கு தெரியுமான்னு கேட்குறாங்க. என்ன மாதிரி நோக்கங்கள் இருக்கிறது, அப்படியெல்லாம் நோக்கம் இருந்துட்டா நான் உங்களுக்கு லைசன்ஸ் கொடுக்குறேன். என்ன அவங்க அதில் எதிர்பார்க்கறதுன்னா கேட்கறதுன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். சரி, ஓகே. Out of the objectives, I understand I should not sell.
Among the objectives, I understand I should not sell alcohol to underage people.
So do you know any of the other objectives within the licensing objectives?
உங்களுக்கு தெரியுமா வேற இது சரி வேற ஏதாவது அஞ்சால மற்றதுன்னு சொல்லுங்க நோக்கங்கள்.
The main thing you know about it.
I know at the moment only this.
Just to let you know, they're on page 13 of the report, on the police report. As I say, like, so with those objectives in mind, they're on page 13, preventing crime and disorder, securing public safety, preventing public nuisance, protecting and improving public health, and protecting children and young persons from harm. So when we're looking at this and we're looking at who is able to be a licence holder, we look to see if that person's a fit and proper person, and that kind of means understanding these objectives and how they're carried out. Just could you explain to the board how you believe that you're a fit and proper person and how you go about these objectives?
அஞ்சு இருக்குது கிரைம்னா தெரியுமே ஏதாவது accident நடக்கிறது அது வராம பாதுகாப்பு மற்ற ஆட்கள் எல்லாத்தையும் பப்ளிக் எல்லாரையும் அவங்களோட சேஃப்டி அவங்கள பாதுகாப்பு அவங்கள சேஃபா வச்சுக்கொள்வது அவங்களுக்கு ஒன்றும் அப்பாயம் வராம அடுத்தது இப்ப சத்தம் அதிகம் வந்து பப்ளிக் நியூசன்ஸ் அதுல வந்து அப்படின்னு நினைக்கிறேன் கரைச்சல் அது இது பராமரிக்கிறதுக்கு ப்ரொடெக்டிங் அண்ட் இம்ப்ரூவிங் பப்ளிக் ஹெல்த் எல்லாம் பொதுவா எல்லா ஜனங்களும் எல்லாரையும் பாதுகாக்கிறது நீங்க சொன்னது மாதிரி ப்ரொடெக்டிங் சில்ட்ரன் அண்ட் யங் பர்சன் அந்த சின்ன பிள்ளைகளுக்கு அப்படி அண்டர் ஏஜ் எல்லாம் கொடுக்குறாங்க. அடுத்தது நீங்க எப்படி போர்டுக்கு சொல்லுவீங்க நீங்க இந்த மாதிரி தகுதி உள்ளவர் இந்த மாதிரி லைசன்ஸ் உங்களுக்கு தரத்துக்கு லைசன்ஸ் உங்களுக்கு வச்சுக்கொள்றதுக்கு உங்களுக்கு என்ன தகுதி உண்டு என்ன மாதிரின்னு நீங்க உங்களுக்கு சொல்லலாம் நீங்க அதுக்கு ஆதாரம் கொடுக்கணும் நீங்க சொல்லணும் இல்லை இந்த மாதிரி உங்களுக்கு அறிவு இல்லதோ அது மாதிரி சாட்சி கொடுக்கணும் நீங்க சொல்லணும் போர்டுக்கு.
ஓகே தெரியும் எனக்கு
I am aware of these things, but I don't know how to express. Are you a proper person? Can you tell the board that you are a proper person? நீங்க சரியான தகுதி உள்ள ஆள் தான் இப்படி லைசன்ஸ் வச்சுக்கொள்றதுக்கு அப்படி நீங்க எப்படி போர்டுக்கு சொல்லுவீங்க?
நான் என்ன வந்து மோரல் பண்றேன்
என்னது
என்ன வந்து மோர் இதை பற்றி நான் படிக்கிறேன்.
ஓகே
அந்த மாதிரி லைசன்ஸ் ஆஃபீஸருக்கு நான் அட்வைஸ் வந்து நான் எடுக்கிறேன்.
ஓகே
என்ன மாதிரி இந்த லோ சொன்னோம்னா லைசன்ஸ் சொன்னோம்னா இந்த மாதிரி நான் இம்ப்ரூவ் பண்ணேன். இந்த சைட்டில் சில மிஸ்டேக்கள் நடந்து அதெல்லாம் நான் ஆக்டிவேட் பண்ணி திருப்பி போகலாம். இது ஒரு சான்ஸ் வந்து பெட்டர் பண்ணி நான் எல்லாத்தையும் செய்யணும்.
in order to prove that I'm eligible and I'm suitable, I'm going to do these things, these steps I'm going to take. I will study the law more related to the alcohol. I would go in detail and learn more. I will meet with the license officer according to section 25, and I will obtain advice from him. And I have, regarding law, I want to improve my knowledge and the awareness, and I will implement those. And I admit I have done few mistakes, some mistakes. Those things I will rectify myself. And if there is another chance given to me, I promise I will go by law and act accordingly.
I know you said you would promise. However, why haven't you done this before? Because when you went for your training, it would have explained exactly what you were to do and how you were to conduct yourself. And one of the, as I said, one of the licensing objectives is protecting children and young persons from harm. But you've been convicted in a court for selling alcohol to a young person.
இப்போ வந்து நீங்க சொல்றீங்க ப்ரொமிஸ் பண்றது, ஆனா இப்ப ட்ரைனிங் நடக்கும் போது இதெல்லாம் உங்களுக்கு சொல்லி தந்தாங்க. அப்படி இருந்தாலும் நீங்க இதெல்லாம் செய்யவில்லை, சரியா? முக்கியமா அவங்க சொன்னாங்க யங் பர்சனுக்கு, இளம் ஆட்களுக்கு அது பணம் விற்கவான, அதனாலும் அப்படி சொல்லி தந்திருந்தாலும் ட்ரைனிங் நடந்தாலும் நீங்க அதை பாதுகாக்கவே இல்லை.
நான் ஸ்டில் அக்ரி பண்ணல, நான் சேவ் பண்ணல. அது ஸ்டாண்டர்ட்லாம் நிற்கிறேன், நான் சேவ் பண்ணி ஸ்டாண்டர்ட்லாம் நிற்கிறேன். அதர்வைஸ் ஒரு மிஸ்டேக் நடந்திருக்கு, அது ஒன்றும் தெரிஞ்சுக்கணும். அடுத்தது டிஸ்பிளே பண்ணி ட்ரைனிங் ரெக்கார்டு டிஸ்பிளே பண்ணது. அப்படியான மிஸ்டேக் நான் செக் பண்ணுறேன். நான் ஸ்டில்
I have done some mistakes. I admit those, like displaying records, price change, not accordingly doing. But those are, I admit, but still I don't agree that, I did not admit that I served a young person. Still, I don't admit that I did sell to a young person. But all the other mistakes, I admit and I rectified those. And all the other mistakes, I will improve. Sorry, I would rectify.
I'm going to expand a little bit on where the Council of Law was coming from. On page 13,
13.
there are 5 objectives. It's not that it's objectives that the licensing board wish you to do. It's part of legislation. Each licence holder must be aware of these 5, not only aware of these 5 objectives, but what they mean. Now, we've touched on one of the 5 objectives. We have another 4 to look at. I want to know about Mr. Joe Mr. Jokarasas, sorry, the understanding of what each of these 5 objectives mean.
அவங்க சொன்னாங்க இது வந்து எல்லாம் இங்க இருக்கிற 5 இதுவும் இதெல்லாம் பார்ட் ஆஃப் லெஜிஸ்லேஷன் என்றால் நீதி இதெல்லாம் இங்க இருக்கிற நீதிகள் அதுக்கு அடங்கி உள்ளதுகள் தான் இதெல்லாம். அப்ப இதெல்லாம் நீங்க கட்டாயமா அறிய வேண்டும். அறியறது மட்டும் இல்ல அத நடவடிக்கையில நீங்க செய்ய வேண்டும்.
எனக்கு தெரியும் அது எப்படி அதை எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்றது.
இப்ப நீங்க நல்லாவே இந்த எல்லாமே இந்த 5 ஆப்ஜெக்டிவ்ஸ் எல்லாமே நல்லாவே நீங்க புரிஞ்சுக்கொள்ளணும் வேணும் அதுபோல நடவடிக்கையிலும் எடுக்க வேண்டும். I understand. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, but what is his understanding? Does he know what's meant by securing public safety? Does he understand what is meant by protecting and improving public health?
இப்ப உங்களுக்கு புரியுதா protecting and improving public health ஜனங்களை காப்பாத்தி அவங்களுக்கு சுகாதாரத்தை நல்லபடியா இம்ப்ரூவ்மெண்ட் நல்லபடியா இதாகிறதுக்கு பெரிய பெரிய ஜனங்களை எல்லாம் மற்ற ஜனங்களை எல்லாம் காப்பாற்ற வேண்டும். காப்பாற்றி அவங்களுக்கு நல்ல மாதிரி சுகாதாரத்தை நல்ல மாதிரி இதாகிறதுக்கு நீங்க நடவடிக்கை எடுக்கணும். Are you asking me explanation or you are telling me to understand this one, emphasize this one?
I am asking merely what Mr. Jokaras's understanding of the 5 licensing objectives are. It's a very simple question. Does he know what each one of these objectives mean?
இதுல எல்லாம் இந்த 5 ஆப்ஜெக்டிவ்ஸும் நோக்கங்களையும் இதுல எல்லாமே ஒன்று மட்டும் இல்ல எல்லாமே 5மே நல்லா புரியுதான்னு கேட்கிறாரு. சும்மா மீனிங் மட்டும் இல்ல அதுல என்ன நோக்கம் என்னது உங்களோட என்ன செய்ய வேண்டியது அப்படி என்ன புரியுதா? Yes, I understand.
And can you expand a little bit?
Mr. Jokarasa need to explain what he understand. Am I correct? Yeah. நீங்க வந்து இதெல்லாம் பத்தி ஒன்றொண்டா எதுமெண்டா அவங்களுக்கு விவரமா சொல்லுங்க. என்னது நீங்க செய்ய போறது என்னது உங்களுக்கு புரியுது அப்படி சொல்லுங்க.
ஓகே, ஃபர்ஸ்ட் வந்து ஒரு கமெண்டிங் டைம் அண்ட்
கிரைம்னா இப்போ வந்து என்ன கிரைம்னா அவங்களுக்கு தெரியுதானே நடக்கிறது அபாயங்கள் கத்தி சுத்தல் அது மாதிரி அது எல்லாம் நடக்கிறது. எது கனவோ எது கிரைம்னா எது எந்த அபராதமும் அதுக்கு வரும். அப்படி என்ன டிசோர்டர்னா சாதாரண நடக்கிற மாதிரியா இல்லை இதெல்லாம் வேறு மாதிரி தான் டிசோர்டர்.
அடுத்து வெளியில நடக்கிற நடக்கிற வெளியில அடிப்படுறது குற்றப்படுறது
சொல்லுங்க.
வெளியில அரேஞ்ச் பண்ணி விட்டு வாரங்களுக்கு போல சேவ் பண்ணலாம். ஒவ்வொரு அவங்க மைண்ட் வந்து இது ஆகாமல் வெளிய பிரச்சனையான தடுக்கிறது. ஒவ்வொரு சின்னாக்களுக்கு நடக்கும் அவங்க குடிச்சு வெளியில போய் அடிபட்டு அந்த அப்படியான இதுகளையும் ஒவ்வொரு அரேஞ்ச் பண்ணி சேவ் பண்ணாமல் அது வெளியே நடக்கிற பிரச்சனைகளை தடுக்கிறது. வெளியே நடக்க போகிறோம் சந்தைகள்.
What I understand from the first one,
like someone already taken alcohol, excess alcohol,
too much.
alcohol, then I should not sell those, those people or prevent children getting alcohol. By all these activities, I am preventing involvement of crimes by these people. I am preventing crimes by taking action, this sort of action. One I would like to mention is if someone is already taken overdose of alcohol, I should not sell them more. And young children, I should not sell. All this contribute to prevent crimes and prevent disorder. இப்படி என்ன பப்ளிக் எல்லா ஜனங்களுடைய சேஃப்டி அவங்களுடைய பாதுகாப்பு, அவங்களுக்கு பாதுகாப்பு, அதுதான் அது மீனிங். இப்போ நீங்க என்ன நடவடிக்கை எடுக்கிறீங்க?
ஒரு சொத்துல பிரச்சனை நடந்து அதுக்குரிய சிசிடிவி ரெக்கார்ட் போலீஸு கொடுத்து எவ்வளோ சேவை கொடுத்து அடுத்து வர பிரச்சனைகளை தவிர்க்கும் சொத்துல வெளியே.
Example for securing public safety, like something happened in the shop, I should have recording facilities like in CCTV camera and all. Those things I must produce when there is a need, when there is an opportunity. Also, anything happen in the shop or outside, any incidents, I should prevent. Preventing public nuisance. அப்படின்னா preventing அதெல்லாம் வராம நடக்கிறது. பப்ளிக் எல்லாம் ஜனங்களுடைய நியூசன்ஸ் எல்லாம் சும்மா கரைச்சலாக இது நடக்கிறது. இது அது கேட்கலாம் என்னன்னு கேட்கலாம் என்ன.
ஓகே, கடைக்கு வந்து கூட்டமாக பஞ்சாயத்து தான் செய்யறது. கூட்டமாக கடைக்கு வந்து சத்தம் போடாமல் நைட் டைமில் சத்தம் போட வேண்டாமல் அல்லது குடிச்சிட்டு கடை பண்ணிட்டு கடைக்கு வந்து சத்தம் வந்து சத்தம் போட்டு டிஸ்டர்ப் காப்பியான
I must prevent nuisance. Example, night time people gather and make noise and disturb other people. This sort of thing, nuisance, I should prevent happening in front of my shop, not to happen. பாதுகாப்புறது அவனோட ஹெல்த் சுகாதாரம், ஜனங்களுடைய சுகாதாரத்தை அவங்களும் நல்ல மாதிரி அதை இம்ப்ரூவ் பண்றது.
இதுக்கு வந்து யூனிட் ப்ரைஸ் மற்றும் அதோட குறைய செயல்படாமல் குறைச்சி குடிக்கிற வீதத்தை குறைச்சி பப்ளிக் ஹாஸ்பிட்டலில் அட்மிட் ஆகிறது வீதத்தை குறைக்கும். யூனிட் ப்ரைஸ் வந்து விலையை குறைச்சிட்டு இருக்கக்கூடாது.
I should not sell alcohol below the unit price given, and also by doing those activities, I'm preventing people taking more alcohol, preventing hospital admissions and all. For any reason, I should not sell young people alcohol
എന്തായാലും
any circumstance.
okay.
Any other questions?
Sorry, Chair. Sorry, can you off your mic? I'd like to ask the applicant, and I'll ask the same question to our officer. On the 10th of September, you attended the Stirling Licensing Board, and your licence was suspended, as I understand it, till the 27th. Did you give any undertakings to that licensing board in relation to the suspension? Secondly, why did you not attend on, it's recorded you didn't attend on the 27th of September, and the suspension is extended to the 22nd of October. And again, I'd like to ask if there was any further request in the licensing board of you beyond the suspension. Can you answer those two quick questions?
I'll clarify with you. At the 10th of September, there's Stirling License Board. License was suspended. On 10th of September, Stirling License Board suspended Jogarasa's license. Mr. Jogarasa, did he take any undertakings related to that? Undertaking means any action, anything seriously taking?
Training or anything?
Yeah, anything. Why did not Mr. Jogarasa attend the meeting on 27th of September? He did not attend. And because of that, it was extended, the suspended period was extended until October 22nd. இப்போ வந்து 10ஆம் தேதி செப்டம்பர் மாதம் உங்களோட லைசன்ஸை அவங்க வந்து சஸ்பெண்ட் பண்ணினாங்க, இல்லாமாக்கினாங்க தற்காலிகமாக. அப்படி சூழ்நிலையில நீங்க என்ன சரி அண்டர்டேக்கிங் அப்படி இருந்தால் நீங்க என்ன சரி அதுக்காக வேண்டிய நடவடிக்கைகள் என்ன சரி செஞ்சீங்களா?
அதுதான் ஒய்ஃபோட லைசன்ஸ் கொண்டு வந்து அப்ளிகேஷன் போட்டு
Number one, because of as an undertaking only, I applied for license for my wife. That is one of the undertakings. I submitted, I applied for application. நீங்க 27ஆம் தேதி செப்டம்பர் 27ஆம் தேதி நீங்க வரல, அவர் மீட்டிங் ஒன்று நடந்துச்சு, அதுக்கு வரல. அந்த காரணத்தால அவங்களோட அந்த சஸ்பென்ஷன் பீரியட் வந்து அந்த அவங்களுக்கு எடுத்து போட்ட பீரியட் வந்து அவங்க நீட்ட மாத்தினாங்க, எக்ஸ்டெண்ட் பண்ணினாங்க அக்டோபர் 22ஆம் தேதி மட்டும். நீங்க வரல?
முதலாவது மீட்டிங் மாற்றி 10:30 AM ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஸ்டைலிங் மீட்டிங்.
சொல்லுங்க.
அப்போ 27 அந்த டேட்டுக்கு வந்து மீட்டிங் இருக்குன்னு சொன்னது. ஆனால் எந்த மெயிலோட வந்து வரையில டைமிங்கோட, அப்போ அதனால நான் சேம் டைம் தான் கவுன்சிலிங் போகணும். ஆனால் அங்கே வந்து இப்போ வரைக்கும் 22nd மாற்றிட்டேன்.
The first meeting I had was in Stirling at 10:30 AM. 27th I was informed there's another meeting, but I did not get any mail or letter regarding the timing. So same time I attended 10:30 by the time, but however the meeting was already held at 9:30 AM before I went. So because of that I missed the meeting and my license was suspended, extended until 22nd of October until the next meeting.
And sorry, what happened on the 22nd October?
என்ன நடந்துச்சு 22ஆம் தேதி அக்டோபர் 22ஆம் தேதி
அன்றைக்கு ஒரு பண்ணிருந்தாங்க. நீங்க யங் பர்சனுக்கு ஆல்கஹால் சேவ் பண்றவங்க தடுக்கிறதுக்கு என்ன நடவடிக்கை எடுத்திருக்கீங்க, அதுக்குரிய நியூஸ் புக் கொண்டு சொன்னாங்க. அப்போ அதை கொண்டு போய் சப்மிட் பண்ணிடுது. அவங்க டிஸ்கஸ் பண்ணிட்டு சஸ்பெண்ட் அதை மூணாம் கொடுத்தோடைய பார்த்து
on the meeting on 22nd of October, I was asked to bring proof how I preventing young people selling alcohol and all. So I took my refuse book, I submitted, I showed to the panel, then discuss on that day, and the panel saw my book, how I refused, and the data was there. And afterward, they removed my license suspension, revoked.
So on the, are you saying on the 22nd of October, your suspension was removed and there was no other conditions or requirements placed by Stirling Licensing Board?
22ஆம் தேதி உங்களோட லைசன்ஸ் அவங்க மறுக்க தந்தாங்க, அதை ரிவோக் பண்ணி. அப்படி என்ன அவங்க உங்களுக்கு கண்டிஷன்ஸ் இப்படி இப்படி நீங்க செய்யணும், இப்படி செய்யணும், இப்போ உங்களுக்கு நாங்கள் லைசன்ஸ் தரோம், அப்படி எதுவும் கண்டிஷன் போட்டாங்களா?
நெக்ஸ்ட் டைம் இப்படி பிரச்சனை வந்தால் லைசன்ஸ் கேன்சல் பண்ணுறோம். அதோட கிளாக்மேன் லைசன்ஸ் ஆஃபீஸர் 25 அதில் அட்வைஸை அவரோட பேர் எடுக்க சொல்லிவிட்டு next time if you case வந்தால் உங்களோட லைசன்ஸ் கேன்சல் பண்ணப்படும். அதோட கிளாக்மேன் கவுன்சில் லைசன்ஸ் ஆஃபீஸர் செக்ஷன் 25 அட்வைஸ்
licensing officer, license officer, Clackmannanshire. One of the conditions was if any other issues happens in the future, your license will be revoked, cancelled. It will be cancelled, not revoked, cancelled. And another condition was I must get advice from the Clackmannanshire Council licensing officer, section 25.
Okay. So you get the drift. I'm trying to put a timeline together for this. So what's your understanding from the Clackmannanshire licensing officer's position in terms of Stirling Council Licensing Board decision in terms of suspension, and then they seem to have lifted the suspension? I'm not getting any impression that the Stirling Licensing Board requested any additional training, but I'm curious about the applicant's wife. She is a Clackmannanshire personal licence holder when that application was submitted, because from the correspondence it looks as if it was earlier in September when Stirling, I can't think why Stirling Licensing Board request involve his wife in terms of personal licence, but maybe you can fill me in on your understanding of how Stirling Licensing Board have operated in this case, given that they've been dealing with the personal licence that they issued.
I'll say I would be very reluctant to involve myself in any discussion surrounding Mary Crucifer Dishant at this stage, as the board are yet to make a finding in relation to that matter, one way or the other. After that finding is made or not made, as the case may be, then we can address that matter separately. In relation to the information that I have from Stirling Licensing Board, I was notified by them on the 10th of September.
Paul, can you come closer to the mic?
Sorry, I was notified by them on the 10th of September, I think is the correct date, that Mr. Jokrasa had appeared before them solely in relation to the notification of a conviction made by Police Scotland to them, and no other matter. And in relation to that notification, it's unclear to me from the communication I have what procedure they were following or was carried out. But at some stage in that procedure, they make a decision to suspend Jokarasa's personal licence. And it appears from the communication to allow him time to provide evidence to Stirling Licensing Board that he has measures in place to prevent another offence of that nature taking place. I'm not certain what else, if anything, was explored at Stirling Licensing Board. Like you, I'm aware that he is reported not to have appeared in time for a citation to appear on the 27th of September, and subsequently appeared on at a third occasion on the 27th of October, at which there was a finding made that the conviction amounted to conduct inconsistent with the licensing objectives, and his licence was endorsed, which was the lowest level of sanction that they could take in relation to the personal licence. Other than that, I am in the dark about the procedure that Stirling took. I can see nothing in the legislation that allows for a temporary suspension, for instance, in the licence. That part of it I'm at a loss under what grounds they were able to do that, or what legislation provides for that, because I certainly can't see any. And the sanctions are for after a finding is made. My understanding is the finding wasn't made until the 27th of October, and the sanction taken as a result of the finding was the endorsement of the licence.
Yep, finished, thanks.
Then we'll do any other questions?
Can I just assist with all I was obviously at the hearings at Stirling Council. I can't speak for the procedure, I can't speak for why the decisions were made, but ultimately they did suspend the licence on the 10th of September. It was reconvened for the 27th. During that time, Mr. Jokarasa was given some tasks to complete prior to coming back. Those included evidencing proper signage within the shop, evidence that he had a refusal procedure in place, and the most important thing that he was asked to do was make contact with the Licensing Standards Officer from Clackmannanshire Council in order to arrange a meeting to get advice and guidance in order to obviously prevent anything like this happening again. We know what happened on the 27th. I believe there was a mix-up in the timings. I was at that meeting at 9:30. And it was obviously adjourned thereafter because Mr. Jokarasa hadn't attended. They then went on to the 22nd of October, which was the final meeting in relation to this matter with Stirling Council. And at that meeting, Mr. Jokarasa attended. He brought a refusals book with him. And at that time, he advised Stirling Board that it's unable to have a meeting with the Licence and Standards Officer from Clackmannan. However, it had been scheduled for this month, and I believe that Stirling was satisfied that the steps had been taken in order to lift the suspension and endorse his licence on the proviso that he was meeting with the Licence and Standards Officer in November for advice and guidance in relation to his conduct as a licence holder, if that helps at all.
That's helpful additional information. And did a meeting occur?
No, it made no effort to clarify, other than the meetings, the occurrences of meetings, detailed in my representation and my application. In addition, I made at the request of the clerk to Stirling Council the aware of certain information that I knew in terms of the procedure that was scheduled for today, and made them aware in an email that the only meeting I had held related to the compliance visit on the 17th of October, which I think is the correct date. There's so many dates lined up, but the one between Drogheda not appearing and the one where he actually appeared with a suspension is one that I engaged with Drogheda City Shop, but not at Drogheda's request as part of an up-to-date compliance position for this process, but I did share that information with Stirling Licensing Board, and the information I shared with them raised concerns about age verification policies in place at the store, or lack of staff training at the store, and I raised all that at Stirling Licensing Board. At least a clerk to Stirling Licensing Board was aware of that information in advance of the hearing on the 22nd of October.
Just one quick follow-up. So that's really why we're considering the premises licence today rather than the personal licence.
Considering both today, there's a review application, as explained at the start of the process, and it's since such a long time ago now, but just for refreshment, the review application we Scotland have submitted relates to the premises licence. The review application that I've submitted relates to the premises licence, but also includes a specific notification under a different section of the legislation that asks you to consider Mr. Drogheda's fitness to continue to hold a personal licence, completely separately to the premises licence review. The complex part of it is explained in the questions asked at the end, that you may make a finding as part of a review application that a personal licence holder has acted inappropriately, and you could then make a separate sanction whether that request was ever made by either of the review applicants. But in this case, I specifically asked you to consider whether his conduct is inconsistent as a personal licence holder, and obviously the review application relating to the fitness and properness and the inconsistent conduct as a personal licence.
And just, I'm really sorry for this, but in terms of procedure, given that the personal licence was issued by Stirling Licensing Board, do we have controls over that?
Yes, we do. In terms of procedure, the legislation makes it very clear that I, as an MSO, and obviously Scotland, and any review application can be the premises licence reviews are obviously procedurally very correct, because the premises are located and licensed by Clackmannanshire Licensing Board in relation to the personal licence. The legislation, I think I've highlighted the extract from the legislation in the appendix at the back, that the legislation states that when a person is working within a licensing board area, that licensing board may hold the hearings as well, regardless of where the licence was issued. So the result of his hearing in relation to the personal licence, regardless of the outcome, will be shared by the clerk to the clerk of Stirling Licensing Board, no matter what outcome it is. And is binding. The Stirling Licensing Board could not reverse any decision that's made here today. The decision made here is binding, and we simply go through the process of sharing that with Stirling Licensing Board.
Yeah. I was just going to say, make sure that it's intended. As following.
Yeah, have you followed the procedures? Have you understood what's being said?
It was hard to understand the procedure, whatever, yeah. I would like to, if you can elaborate, first of all, the personal license and premises licensing, if you can tell me the differences, yeah, that will be just little touching that one first.
I'll simplify that whole conversation for you.
Yeah.
The question was asked as, are this licensing board allowed to consider a Stirling personal licence? That was the first part of the question.
Sterling.
Are they allowed to take action? Right. So the answer I provided to that is yes, if the licence holder was working in licensed premises in this licensing board area, which Drogheda was. So that was the first part. Do you understand that? So it was a competency question about whether or not this licensing board is entitled to take action against a personal licence that's held, that's been issued by another licensing board. So the answer is yes.
Sorry, apologies.
Okay.
So if a Sterling license means that area premises
Yes.
is supposed to sell only that area.
Yes. So each licensing board covers a different area of Scotland, and they control, each licensing board controls the licenses in that area. So that helps explanation.
And the personal license is the person who is selling alcohol. That is different.
The personal licence allows somebody to work anywhere in Scotland. So the premises is restricted to the area where it is. Does that help? And the explanation that was given is that yes, we consider the personal licence, but we would notify Stirling what decision is made today. We would tell Stirling about it.
We will notify your panel today.
Yes.
We will notify
The Stirling panel.
Yes. To the Stirling panel.
Licensing board, yes.
And this area is under Stirling, not under Stirling.
No, this is Clackmannanshire.
This is a different
area from Stirling's. So.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Does that help you offer explain? I think Mr. Douglas has kept up with quite a lot of that, looking at him nodding. So.
இன்னைக்கு இவங்க பேசுறது எல்லாம் இன்னைக்கு இவங்க தீர்மானம் எல்லாம் அவங்க வந்து அதுக்கப்புறம் ஸ்டர்லிங் லைசன்ஸ் போட்டு அவங்க அறிவிப்பாங்க. உங்களுக்கு எதுவும் கேட்கிறதுனா நீங்க கேளுங்க, எனக்கு அது மட்டும் புரிஞ்சிச்சு, அவங்க அறிவிப்பாங்க. அதெல்லாம் இது இவங்க இன்னைக்கு தீர்மானம், அதை அவங்க அறிவிப்பாங்க ஸ்டர்லிங் லைசன்ஸ் போர்டுக்கு. After this panel, whatever the decision taking place today, you will be informing the Stirling Council, Stirling Licensing Board.
Yes.
அதுதான் சொல்லுது. Jagaras is asking anything else? Anything else I should know?
No, you have that.
அவ்வளவுதான் இதுல அறியும். Thank you.
I was just to ask the sergeant, because obviously you were at the Stirling licensing board, were they made aware that alcohol was still being sold despite the personal license being suspended during that period that they had suspended it?
Not by me. I'm unsure if it came from any other source, but I was not aware of that information, and I never conveyed it to the board, and it was never discussed during any part of their hearings I was present at, so I don't think they were aware.
Councillor Waller, perhaps I would clarify that that information was included with the information I shared with the clerk to Stirling Licensing Board. Whether Police Scotland were aware of that, I'm less sure, but certainly the clerk to Stirling Licensing Board was aware that the premises continued to trade through the suspension period.
But we won't know if that was on the board papers, that the board was made aware of that then. not that Police Scotland didn't know, but that alcohol was being sold while the suspension.
Certainly any papers that were sent to me or being cited to attend any of the hearings and any discussions during that did not allude to the fact that the clerk had passed that information to the board. It was never a topic that arose during any discussions, and it was never in any of the papers that I was given prior to attending for these hearings. So I don't know why the board weren't informed about it, but certainly it never came up.
Just a question for the licensing officer. Do you think that information would be critical to be making a decision about whether the licence should have been continued to be suspended or other action taken? Or can you not comment on that?
I'm happy to comment on it. Yes, it's absolutely critical, surely. It'd be possible. Sorry, absolutely critical to take account of all the available information when making a decision, which is why we're here today with all the information being presented to the board members. It's impossible to make a decision on half a story, surely. That's my view, but I think it's one that would be shared widely.
Yeah. Do we have any other business? No.
Sorry.
I think.
It was just in regards to, obviously, I think you said that it doesn't come up, Paul, to do with this, but if we were, where in the procedures does it come when we talk about the other personal licensing holder and whether there should be a review there? At what part of the procedures does this get brought up or asked of for a review to get done?
I suppose that would be the last matter that you would make a determination on. I've specifically asked you to consider whether or not the conduct of any licence holder, personal licence holder working on the licensed premises gives you any inclination that conduct was inconsistent. So the decision for that would just be made at the end after the deliberations, and once you're delivering your decision, you would deliver a decision on that particular point, as well as the other 5 points, I think, that you're being asked to deliver a decision on.
Okay. Okay. We're going to adjourn for a discussion on what we've heard this morning, and we'll get you back in and we'll come to a decision. Probably just can I have everyone that's not involved in the procedure to leave the premises.
Yeah. Legal, inside, outside.
Yep.
Are you okay?
No. We still, no, that's fine.
What time is our briefing this afternoon?
3:15, that's got to be delayed.
Okay, at some point. Right, it's been an extremely complex case, this one. But I think it boils down to one issue. Having presented the case today, this morning, is Mr. Jokarasa a fit and proper person to hold a licence? If we determine he's not a fit and proper person, then it's my understanding that his licence will be suspended forthwith.
Before you make a decision, you've got to go back to Paul's application and go for it. It's for review, it's not vexatious, frivolous, and you can make a decision. As licensing board, you have a range of sanctions that you can impose. That you can either issue a written warning to the licence holder, make a variation of the licence, suspend the licence for whatever period the board may decide, or revoke the licence. However, I was telling Council Chair, that with section 39, that if you're satisfied that the licence holder fails the fit and proper person test, then the licence board must revoke the premise licence. There's no other option. But you have to come to a decision on both of the applications, but most final decision will just be both of them together.
Okay, so we'll look at the first presentation by the police. We were concerned about it. Having listened to what the police